I want to have some common sense conversation here about what do you think it was like for Jesus and his family, Joseph, Mary, James, and his sisters and other brothers, to live in a country that was taken over and occupied by the Romans, and them being Jewish who were conquered. What do you think life was like? Well, I'm a very privileged white man in the United States who lived on a small farm in a white community, very small, population 5,000 in the state of Michigan. And I didn't see my first non-white person till I was 17 years old and 10 months. That is how small my world was. Since then, I have intimately found out what it's like to be associated and related to individuals who are not white, who are actually part white and part African American. And I know what it's like to now have family members who are not white, who have to have other concerns than I have to have. I've actually had to alter my life and the things that I do to accommodate situations that could be potentially harmful and deadly for my non-white family members. That means that when we're in a place where bigotry, racism, and the police beating up non-white people are recently events, we decide that it's smarter if I drive, being a white male, and drive everybody in the van or whatever we're driving, than some other family members of mine who are not white. Now, having to have that realization that we could get pulled over even with my driving, and that my family members could get detained, handcuffed, beaten up, humiliated, even killed for no other reason than the color of their skin because of Tamar and others that we have seen. This is my reality today as a man who is approaching 60 years old. So I look back at Jesus and I say, what was his life like? What did he have to live that you and I didn't as white people? And I believe that I'm seeing things that I never saw before. That Jesus, Mary, or Martha in her Jewish name, Joseph, James, their Jesus' sisters and brothers, and his family had to live with and be part of a reality. Remember, Mary and Joseph saw all the children 2 years of age, well, they knew of it, 2 years of age and younger, where Jesus was born in Bethlehem, slaughtered by the Romans. They could do whatever they want. Kill, rape, beat you up, make you carry their heavy load, anything they wanted to. So if you see a Roman coming, do you think you're going to play around and have fun being a non-Roman? I think that Mary and Joseph and Jesus and James and their family had to always be on the lookout. If they had a Roman friend, probably had that person be in front to do things so that they would be protected. You might even be able to pay a Roman to escort you so that you could get where you needed to be with more security and peace of mind. This is not a very nice way to live. There's a lot of stress. So I believe that with what we're seeing with people who are not white being beaten up by whoever wants to do it and get away with it, like that one guy who has been proven to be a character and a half that should not have gotten off, the vigilante. And we've seen our cops, now that we have the capability of recording them, so it's no longer their word is the truth. The truth is the video on the telephones. I think that we're seeing more and more of it. But I think people who are not white need to realize that Jesus did live through this time frame. And he was a man of grief and sorrows. He had to live knowing that the Romans could do whatever they wanted to any of his family members. Because how do you get to a good Christian? How does the devil get after a good minister? You attack their family members. You attack their best friends. You want to cause a man or a woman to cry. Attack, hurt, or kill one of the people they love dearly. And you're going to get that good Christian man or woman. Think about it. If Satan went after somebody you loved dearly, would you not rather have had it be you than them in some instances? Like your son or your daughter, your mom or your dad, your sister, your brother, your grandmother, your grandfather, your aunt, your uncle, your best friend, your spouse. If Satan wanted to get to you, who do you love the most? Or might it even be your dog or your cat or your pet? And Satan goes and injures or kills one of them to try to get to you. That would cause you problems. So if Jesus has to be on the lookout, Mary has to be on the lookout, Joseph has to be on the lookout, we know that James is Jesus' half-brother. If he had to be on the lookout, and others, why is it so incredible that we have people in our community in the United States who have the same problems and have to look out? We need sympathy, people. We need not to be backing away and saying, well, it's their fault because of whatever. If these people are suffering, think about it. If you don't have compassion, maybe God's going to take you down the road that he's taken me many times to wake up my mind and to have compassion in my heart. Because now, as a white man, I have to face the realities daily that non-white people in my family have to face every day and night. I live in Detroit right now, and I used to live in East Point. And I'm glad that I moved out of East Point because I saw the video on the news where five very fat white policemen lined up so that you couldn't see the video pointing at the black man that was kind of drunk, and they went and beat him up, handcuffed to a chair, and broke his eye socket on his left side, and really did a damage to him, which cost East Point taxpayers over $1 million, if I remember correctly. Nothing was done to those fat policemen that I'm aware of, but I saw that bigotry and hatred of those deceitful cowards. Anybody that picks on or beats up on anybody who is hindered from fighting back, especially handcuffed or tied down, is a coward. From where I grew up, on the farm in the country, you're a coward. And that's what those policemen are. They're cowards that did that. Are all policemen bad? No. I have some great friends that are policemen that have ethics and have a conscience. But those five fat white cops in East Point, Michigan were cowards. And God will take care of them. He'll get even with them for what they did to that man. And I moved out of East Point. I didn't want nothing to do with East Point. I don't even want to drive through it because I don't want to put anyone in my family in jeopardy. I'd rather drive around it than through it when I can. And I think about it every time I drive through East Point when I'm not by myself. So think about it. Jesus had to live with that problem of being the underclass in his community. his whole life. So, does Black Lives Matter? Yes, they do. Does your life matter? Yes, it does. Do we need to have more compassion? Yes, we do. If you don't, God will make sure you do. And that's not something that's going to be easy for most of us. So think about it, people. And when you think about it, start praying. Start praying that God will help us as a nation to have unity and to have compassion and to help one another. We'll be a democratic society. Well, you can still smile, you can still love, you can still pray, and you can still hold out your hands and help. And realize, walk in the shoes of that person. Talk to that person. See what their reality is. And then you'll be able to pray better. You don't have to live in it every day, every minute, if you don't have to. Because when we're in our home, we don't think about it. We're in our house. We're protected. God is our protector. But we need more compassion and more prayer. God bless you, and I hope you have a great day.